Hello again, hungry friends. I'm Sasha, your host for this episode of Alt Baking Bootcamp with Well+Good, and today we're making nutty no-bake protein clusters. Let's get nutty. As a trainer and runner in New York City, I am constantly on the move, and so I need something that's gonna give me fast, quick, and delicious energy. And the great thing about this recipe is that I expend very little to no energy making it because it could not be easier. So we'll begin by processing our pecans, our pistachios, and our whole rolled oats. I've tried making this recipe before where you just put everything into a bowl and kind of mix it together. And it does have a really yummy, crunchy texture, but I find that when you process the nuts and the oats first, they tend to bind together a lot easier. And instead of having crumbs falling every time you take a bite when you're eating on the subway, this actually holds in a very nice tight ball, and you take a bite and everything is saved either in your mouth or in your hand. Easy. So, locked and loaded. I'm gonna give these dry ingredients a quick pulse, just so that you can see that the oats become a bit finer and the pistachios are chopped up. And once that's done, we'll put everything in a bowl, mix it together, and then form little tiny balls of energy. Cool. So you don't quite want a flour-like texture. You definitely want to see some bigger chunks in there. Okay, so game changer alert. I found this nifty food processor specific spatula, and it's elongated and it has very pointy corners so that you can actually get into every nook and cranny of your food processor bowl. And that's where all the good stuff hides anyways. So, you've heard me talk about mini spatulas. I just think everyone should have an array of spatulas. So, get this funky, fun, but so useful food processor spatula. And thank me later. Happy chef is a tidy chef, so let's clear all of this excess empty dishware out of the way, and I'll meet you right back here in a second. Okay, now that our workspace is nice and tidy, all that's left is to combine everything in this big bowl, mix it really well, and scoop it out into your tray, put it in the freezer, and then you're done. So, we've got our nuts, our oats. I'm topping it with some maple syrup, a pretty generous amount, some vanilla extract, also a generous amount. I just really like both of those things a lot, so why not? Flaxseed meal. This is gonna be your binder, and it has the texture of like a really fine flour, and that's what's gonna really hold everything together once it's put in the freezer and chilled. We also have quite a bit of peanut butter here. So I'm gonna start to give this a little mix. All right, let's fold in some chocolate chips. I have a generous amount also of chocolate chips, and the ones that I'm using here are actually dark chocolate, which is really high in antioxidants and will give you lots of natural energy. So you're just doing yourself a favor by throwing them in the mix. All right, y'all. So this has come together quite nicely, and I think it's time to scoop. So I am going to use some gloves because this is a really sticky mixture, and once your hand gets coated with it, it becomes really hard to form it into a clean ball because it just starts to stick to your hand. So enter the gloves. The gloves are not necessary. I'm just extra, and I really don't want to have to wash my hands every 2 seconds, so voila, here we are. All right, let's scoop. Mini cookie scooper, actually not so mini, probably a medium cookie scooper, but again, not necessary. Just makes your life a little bit easier, but you could very well do this with just a regular spoon and your hand. So we've successfully scooped out all of our protein clusters onto a sheet tray. And now we're just gonna scooch them right into the freezer, let them set for about 15 minutes max, and then they're ready to be eaten. Okay, so we just put everything in a bowl. We combined it, we made them into little tiny clusters, and then we froze them, and now it's time to eat them. So easy. I'm gonna go for the one that has the most chocolate chips in it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, ready? Oh. Mmm. Mmm. There's a lot in my mouth. This is the perfect snack. I would eat this before a run. I would eat it after a run. Honestly, I would consider eating it during a run. Depends on how long I'm going. And you can make them in advance. Keep them in the freezer, keep them in the fridge, keep some at your work, keep them in your purse. Just keep them everywhere and eat them all the time. You'll be so happy and you can thank me later. For more delicious, nutritious, and on-the-go snacks, please subscribe to Well+Good, and I'll see you next time.